shit talker black. Yeah, they fuck with my phone. I'll talk about that later. Let's get back to Scientology, the industry of death.
Have expanded on her account, offering the fullest picture yet of the troubling events that occurred there. The defectors also were interviewed by FBI agents.
See, these people, I don't care if they're defectors or not, they need to go to prison. I mean, they really do. They're part of it. They are accessories. And they need to go to prison.
Who focused on the hole as they investigated the church's working conditions. The hole was a building made of several double-wide mobile homes on the west side of Scientology's 500-acre compound, 80 miles east of Los Angeles.
Look at all that shit they have. Wow.
In the late 1990s, it served for years as office space for Scientology's international management team. Then, around 2004, according to defectors, it became a place of punishment, as Scientology leader David...
He's a beta bitch. He was a messenger, and only girls are messengers. That's why his name is Miss. He was abused as a child too, sexually abused as a child, and it's still going on. The David Miss Beta Bitch Cabbage.
Cabbage are increasingly unhappy with the performance of the church's top officers. The leader ordered them to.
There's a lot of them. See, a lot of them.
The defectors say all were members of Scientology's religious order, the SEAL.
All were members of Scientology's religious org. And they also are responsible for organized stalking. So what happened to them, I don't even give a fuck. What goes around comes around. I can't wait for it to happen to all of Scientology, the whole of Scientology. Church of Scientology. Well, no, Scientology.
Later, the number grew to 100 as Miscavige deemed more and more officers to be underperforming.
Now, he put them there because they were underperforming. They were not making money. Shit talker. La hero. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep going. Shit, fuck that.
Scientology's former spokesperson, Mike Rinder, says he was there from the start.
This practice of group confessions grew up in the hole. And it was some thing where Miscavige had developed this idea that you had to confess to your peers all of your horrible transgressions, and that they were supposed to extract out of you these transgressions, particularly related to your theoretical transgressions against Miscavige himself. Like, what have you done to COB? What have you done to try and hurt COB? What have you done here? What have you...
Pink bastard.
This is like the mantra of the whole.
It's the mantra of the whole. Now they go into the hole and they target each other very badly.
This would be carried
attack
out by whoever happened to be there, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, all standing up there and screaming at you about,
No, they say he was in the hole. I don't think so. If he was in the hole, some others say he wasn't either. If he was in the hole, then he would know exactly what to say right here, but he doesn't say anything. He just gives you sound like, he is a caveman.
And eventually, it sort of devolved into ultimately physical violence and torture to extra...
They're physically violent and dealing with violence and torture. This place is something like a Hitler camp, and they not only just did the head niggas in charge like that, they also did children like that. They are the industry of death. They fuck around with people's minds. They do big time mind fuck some people, and then some people even will commit suicide behind it. That's called death. They take the soul out of these people. These people have no soul. Some of them don't even have an ability to think. Their soul is so fucked up. That means they were killed. So Church of Scientology is an industry of death.
These quote confessions out of people.
John Brousseau had been a member of
He worked for years at the desert compound. Did you see his face? They try to look oh so innocent. No, nigga. No, I mean, we should not even accept them out here. We should not accept them. The children, yes. But those that have been there for long and are higher up and have these positions, no, we should not accept them because they also were saying that we, those that are not about Scientology, even those who didn't know about Scientology, that we are suppressive persons, and this is why they would come out, organize gang stalking, and come out and stalk us. Organized gang stalking also is scripted. You know, each one has a script of what they need to be doing. So they need to be brought up on charges, and I don't accept them. I don't. The children, yes, but them, no, I don't accept them. Hell, fuck no.
Vehicles, working on electronics and construction projects.
Look at all this goddamn land.
He also became a trusted aid to Miscavige. Brousseau said the leader made it apparent.
He's a blue-eyed caveman. He's a madman, for real.
I mean, we're talking constantly berating them.
He said constantly berating them. He knows everything they did, but yet he decided to put the bars on the windows and the doors, and he was able to go and tell, but he did not, because he was afraid for himself. Most of them don't even say I was afraid for myself. They afraid of for the church, you know.
Everything they're doing, pointing up inadequacies, ineffectiveness, lack of results, blaming it all on them and their inability to do anything right, and on the other hand saying...
But he had no inability to do the right thing either. He didn't run and tell him. Now he wants to be out here with the suppressive persons, and we are supposed to accept him. You can accept him if you want to. I don't. This nigga needs to be brought up on treason, because what they have done is treason. They say, oh, I wasn't a part of it, but you were assisting it, and you knew that people were being treated as though they were in Hitler camps, and you had a way to tell. You could have went and told, but you did not.
Now he's got to do everything himself. He's the only one that can do things right.
Defectors say it was 2006 when conditions in the hole worsened.
2006.
Brousseau said he received an urgent call from Miscavige's secretary, Elan Baram.
He called me down to what was called the CMO in trailers. So I went down there and I met him, and he said to me, COB wants this place made secure. He's worried that some of these people might blow. He wants you to put steel bars on all...
COB, Cabbage, son of a bitch.
...the doors except these.
Brousseau suggested that screwing the doors closed might be more secure.
He said, no. COB said, put steel bars on. You're not going to alter it. Put steel bars on. I said, okay, I'll put steel bars on. So I went
You see, he said, okay, I'll do it.
down to the garage and went into an area that was a stockpile of building materials that I was very familiar with. And I found some real heavy tubular steel. It was chrome plated. So I went over to the engineering department with this stuff, and I cut pieces to the exact right length I needed to span these doors. I went to a drill press, and I drilled 2 holes in each end, and I grabbed some really strong steel screws, and I grabbed my cordless screw gun, and I drove up there, and I went to the first door, and I put the bar on, and I shot 2 screws in the left, 2 screws in the right. The next door, same thing. All the doors except for the doors that were designated as the only entry and exit.
Brousseau said he also drove
So therefore he is assisting the shit to happen. Everyone has to be responsible for their own actions. I don't care why you did it, who you did it for, you did it. Beta Bits Miscavige didn't do that shit. He did it. He needs to be brought up on charges. These people who know he did this shit, they need to finger him and bring his ass up on charges. He helped them to stay in that place.
Screws in all the windows to ensure they opened only about 4 inches. He said he noticed a few weeks later that someone else had removed the bars. But several other restrictions kept the executive team confined. confessions became more intense. The church said in a statement, "Any allegations of bars being installed to hold people against their will is false and malicious and is denied." It said Brousseau and Rinder are disgruntled ex-members who are making false allegations.
Every time someone talks about what happened there, and they all talk about this type of abuse, they all are making false allegations.
The church also said that, much like other religious orders, the Sea Org practices ecclesiastical discipline, and no laws are ever broken in the process.
They practice ecclesiastical discipline, and no laws are ever broken in the process, and it's not. Whatever their ecclesiastical discipline is, their laws are not broken.
According to Rinder, Miscavige sometimes dictated what he wanted people to confess in the hole. Other times, the managers pushed one another to confess.
The 50 people there are all screaming at me and telling me that I've done this and I've done that. Why don't I just admit it? And I stole money and I had affairs and all.
I think he's a big pink ass liar.
People just literally, Tom, randomly dream up bullshit and start screaming it out, and then
I'm not saying they didn't do that in the hole, but I don't think he was there. I think he's a liar. He just knew what was happening, but I don't think he was there. I think he's a liar.
Starts going crazy, like, oh yeah, it must have been that. Oh yeah, it must have been that. There's all sorts of written confessions that people have done, and they read like North Korean POW write-ups.
He said it was like North Korean VW write-ups. No, this shit was like some Hitler shit. He doesn't want to say that. But this is some Hitler shit. The Germans came over here, they began to do all kind of shit. We don't know what the fuck all the shit they did. Scientology is one of them.
The hole now had a security guard at the door around the clock, according to Rinder and other defectors. Meals were brought in from the mess hall because the executives were not allowed to eat with the rest of the staff. Everyone in the building spent nights in sleeping bags or on cots, staking out floor space in offices and conference rooms.
See? That's some Hitler shit.
I really saw much when I went in there, other than I went in there and you could sort of smell the smell. People live here. People sleep here. I think I went in there very early one morning and people were very sleepy-eyed, like they had just gotten up. And if you ever lived in a dormitory in college or something, and you know, you come home late and everybody's snoring, it stinks.
Yeah. But he didn't run and tell. And he holds his mouth as though he's a crackhead. You know, a lot of crackheads, their mouth kind of twitches to the side. But I don't know if he's a crackhead. But I know he needs to be brought up on charges. He knew that it was a Hitler camp, and he didn't run and tell anyone.
Occasionally, some were allowed out of the hole to appear at church events or to perform other.
No, he was allowed out of the hole to perform at a church event. He didn't tell anyone. He was in the hole. These people have Stockholm syndrome, you know, and their minds is so fucked up, and their soul is gone. Without your soul, you can't think right. Soon as the motherfuckers left me out, I don't give a damn. But see, then too, they know not to go to the police because they know the police is involved. They already know that. They know not to tell the FBI. A lot of the FBI is involved. Which one would they tell? They can't go to anyone because anyone and everyone is about saying Church of Scientology. Even if they found a way to get the fuck out of America and go overseas some damn where, the Church of Scientology would be that also. There was nowhere for them to go, nowhere to run, and that is God. You know, you can't get over, you can't get under, you can't go around, you can't get through. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and these people were tormented. And now when I hear a lot of melanated beings say, you know, melanated man, he's blessed, and now I see why, because they may target us the way they may attack us the way they attack us, but they don't attack us the way they attack their own. Pink people treat their own so horrible, but they're used to it because when Neanderthals in the caves, that's how they taught each other. Pink people want to say, oh, Neanderthals are extinct. No, they're not. This is a Neanderthal right here. Neanderthals are like the beta bits cabbage, you know. The way he acts, the way he thinks. All people, Neanderthals, I don't know. But it's so many of them that are that it appears that maybe every last one of them are, but I don't know. I don't know.
Duties.
But I know
As
they
time
are.
went on, some occupants had spent months or years in the hole.
I wonder how many people did they put to make stay in little rooms, and how many little boys did they make to stay on the stairs and in basements, and young girls to stay in sewer areas and shit like that, you know? How many? And how long? Now it's their turn.
Rinder said it was taking a toll.
By late 2006, this had degenerated from not just screaming at people to get them to, quote, confess to whatever bizarre stuff someone had thought up that they had done, but this is the beginning of the trash cans, putting people to stand in big trash cans, putting signs around people's necks with various things, you know.
These people in here, they were just going crazy, and their Neanderthal instincts were kicking in fast.
I'm an SP, I'm CI, whatever, to actual physical torture of people who were theoretically not cooperating. I mean, on many occasions, people were slapped, punched.
You see how they do their own? Their own.
Thrown up against a wall. That was relatively routine behavior in the hole by that time.
Brousseau often saw the occupants of the hole as security guards marched them two abreast.
This looks like the movie I watched. I think it's George Orwell, 1984. And now they're going to all go and take a shower. I wonder if it's a community shower or one shower, they have to wait on the other.
To a nearby maintenance garage to take showers.
They looked like they knew they were being marched to the gallows. They just looked
That's what they
lifeless
look
with
like.
no purpose.
He said they look lifeless with no purpose. If you are lifeless with no purpose, then you are dead. And these are Church of Scientology, and that's why it's the industry of death. And he also helped to make them be in that emotional and mental condition, because he didn't help them. He was helping the church. He cared more for the church than he cared for the beings. Isn't that something? That's a Neanderthal. He had a Neanderthal mind. He still does. Now he wants to come out here and be with the suppressive persons. No, bitch, we don't want you. At least I don't want you.
Very hangdog, droopy shoulders.
No one should want him.
Slouchy, very sad, inward.
See? The industry of death. They have taken the life out of these people. Church of Scientology is definitely the industry of death, right along with psychiatry.
Looking features, it was not pleasant to look upon them.
Mike Rinder said managers demanding confessions would order people to crawl laps around a conference table. They told them to roll up their pant legs so their knees scraped against the rough indoor-outdoor carpeting.
You hear that? Roll up your pants. They're really, really wanting to torment these people. And there's so many of them here, but they have them all against each other, just like the chosen ones they choose to target. They can turn us against each other too. They do us, dealing with mind manipulation and dealing with technology, and them, they are just doing this shit with words, so it could be neuro-linguistic programming, but they're sucking the life out of these people, which means that is an industry of death. Is it too many people to do this shit to? An industry of death.
Some days on end, you end up with fairly severe contusions and abrasions, and this sort of actual physical torture, it kind of devolved and degenerated into that to try and get people to come up with confessions that were acceptable, because as time
See, that's what they do to you in war. They treat you like that. It's torture. And sometimes the police will do you like that too. To make you confess to something you did not do. Because they're sucking the life out of you. Church of Scientology, the industry of death.
went on, what was being confessed to was mild, but it wasn't. It had to keep getting more and more dramatic and more.
And then I want you to pay attention to how he looks. He says he was in there. He can put together sentences very well. He can speak very well. His mind should have been somewhat warped from going through something like that, but it is not.
More over the top in order to be acceptable.
Rendered described a time when church executive Russ Bellin was trying to get another executive, Kurt Weiland, to confess to a long ago failing in a legal case against the church.
Okay, this is 21 minutes in. I'm going to come back with the rest. Shit Talk a lot he wrote.